fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell at before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what good to say? I doubt it will stand up to something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Oh, welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. You can hear us on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Rumble, Rockfin, Twitter, Facebook, even if anyone is still on Facebook, other than people checking in to see how fat their friends from high school have gotten. I know that's why I'm on Facebook. Before I bring in our fabulous guest of the evening, I have a show to mention to y'all. Next month, I will be in Houston for the Anime Matsuri convention. That's going to be August 10th through the 13th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. I will be there in I will be on panels. We'll have a booth. There will be a Simpcast presence at Anime Matsuri. Come check us out. We'll be in cosplay. We'll be signing boobs, hanging out. It's going to be a great time. I've never been to this convention before, and I've heard it's a blast, and lots of YouTubers go. And I'm headlining the same weekend in Houston that Friday, August 11th, at the Secret Group. And Lila Hart will be there. She'll be opening for me. I am so excited to get back on the road with her. We just have such a blast together. And yes, we will be having matching outfits. Thank you for asking. Anyway, our next guest she's an internet personality. She is a content creator. In our pre-chat, we already realized we have so much in common. So I am very excited to bring to the stage Courtney Michelle. Hello. I love a woman who wears earrings to a podcast. Let me tell you how much I appreciate the accessorizing to be on a box on the internet. I appreciate it.
Let me tell you, I don't know why women or men get on these podcasts and don't look presentable, because you don't know who you're going to see, especially if you're single and ready to mingle. You need to be prepared. So I'm always going to be prepared.
My grandma and my mother always said, whenever we were single, she would say to me and my sister, like, you never know who you're going to bump into. You never know who you're going to meet. You could be buying ham and turn around and your husband will be behind you.
Exactly. And so that's how I treat when I go online, because again, it's not like I'm just going to Target. You are talking to thousands. So I'm always going to try to spruce it up.
I know. You're like, no one's going to Target now.
Oh, I did ban it. Is the ban still on?
I don't know. I go back and forth on I think if you can get those things somewhere else, why not? If it makes you feel good to put your dollars towards a small business or I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Target's going to be fine no matter what. Like they did take a bit of a dip. Yeah. But like if you're in a dire situation and you have to get something like a diaper, and Target is the only, don't make yourself miserable.
Yeah.
But yeah. Are you married?
I am not married yet.
Ooh, Courtney, maybe your husband could be in the chat.
Well, I am dating. The dating scene has been quite interesting for me. So I am dating, but I'm not married yet. So, a lot of people say if you're not married, you're single. So I don't really discuss my dating life like that, because it's like, well, you married him yet?
Right. Yes, I always used to joke about this because I've been dating. Before I got married, I was dating Frank like 7-8 years, and I always would joke like, I'm single from a tax standpoint,
from some benefits.
Yeah.
But not when it comes to me going out or putting on something that I'm super locked up. So those are things I'm trying to figure out. So technically, I guess, if we're going by that standard, I am single.
I was looking at a video this morning about this woman that was telling her followers if they set her up with a guy that she was going to marry eventually, that she would give $5,000, and then she proceeded to go through all of her requirements. Like, she was a tall bitch, so I understand why she said 6 foot and up, but the rest of her requirements, I felt like she could have had some wiggle room. Like, if you're at the point where you're online asking for someone to set you up, like, you should be flexible.
You should be flexible. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Do you think women are flexible now?
I think at the end of the day, we can think that we have qualifications and a whole checklist of things, but when it comes down to you meet somebody face to face that you vibe with, I feel like so much of that goes out the window.
Yeah.
Because why do so many of us stay with such huge red flags? Nobody ever's like, I want to meet a guy who has a gambling problem, who has never had a real job, who has a mugshot online. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what my sister set out, but that's her husband.
And that's I think sometimes, especially dating now, it's once you have a connection, because it's so hard sometimes to find a connection with someone, then you're just like, okay, let me try to make it work. Let me try, because I haven't found a connection like this. So, yeah.
Right. You have to, and you can't keep a relationship going just on a connection. You need to have the same values. You need to be able to compromise. You need to be able to communicate. So it's the in-between time of like, okay, are the problems that we have worth working on? Is it worth staying together for?
Well, let me tell you this, because I don't know if you've seen this, but I think I was watching something with Sneeko. And
I've seen Sneeko. He's I'm based in New York, and I've seen him perform at the Stand Comedy Club a few times.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is a Sneeko? You know what I mean? It took me so many times to be like, who is he? What does he do? Is he a comedian? He seems like he does multiple things.
Yeah, he does a lot. But recently I heard him say that in dating, he doesn't want to date a woman that he has likeness to as far as commonalities. He would prefer his woman to know nothing.
What, like be a shut-in?
Just completely a blank canvas, and like, I don't want her to know nothing. I don't need a woman to have similar interests to me, religion based, political based. I just need a woman that I can mold and to make, and whatever I believe I can instill in her.
He could have just said he wants a 22-year-old. You know what I mean?
Is that 22-year-olds now? That might be a 14-year-old.
What? The younger you are, the easier you are. Like, the more bullshit you will put up with, because you just don't know any better. Like, when I was 22, my very first boyfriend, he cheated on me, and he told me, and I just was like, well, that sucks, but I stayed with him because I just thought that was part of having a boyfriend, which actually sounds like something Pearl would say, is that we all have to get on board with the idea of cheating. But he cheated on me with his Russian tutor, and then I found long black hairs in his bed, and then so that was another woman that he was seeing, and then at that point I was like, this feels like a lot. I think we should be done.
Yeah.
But I was stupid. I was stupid. I didn't know that you could have standards.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, when people say that, they don't realize that women get older and more wiser and up on game. So you might get a 20-year-old now that you think that you can play the fool with, but she's going to get older, be around people, and see things. That's what always confuses me. I was like, you don't think women don't get smarter once they get older?
Right. Even if you lock down a younger woman, she will grow older with you, and then get to a point where she hopefully will call you out on your patterns or your bullshit.
And I was 20-year-old before, and I remember even being 20, I was like, I don't date older men because I don't want to be with old balls. I don't want to be with sagging and no.
Even young balls look old. Even 25-year-old balls, you're like, ugh, I'd rather not. Yeah.
Right, but then you get older, so I don't think a lot of these people have thought things through.
Or they could just do the Leo where they date someone until they turn 25 and then find a new one, find a freshie.
Well, I guess they keep it in rotation, but
Mhm.
it's not a lot of Leo DiCaprios out there.
Leo was my first crush because we have the same birthday, not year, but
Mhm.
date. And I was like, oh my God, he's my Scorpio boo. Like I loved him in Romeo and Juliet. I loved his whole aesthetic, like the greasy side swept, dirty look.
Okay.
It was good.
I've had a lot of random crushes. Boy bands was my thing back in the day, but I had a liking for Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Do you remember that back in the
JTT, of course. Did you watch Home
What?
Improvement?
Yeah, I watched. That was a big thing. So I had like a crush on him. I used to watch The Sandlot and the black dude. His name is Brandon
Oh,
Adams. I
I
loved
love The
him.
Sandlot.
So I had all these like random crushes. All
You
the
got
good
it.
old
It's
days.
healthy. I screamed the loudest I've ever screamed in my life when I received a New Kids on the Block Joey doll for my, I think, 12th birthday or something like that. And Joey's not even the hot one.
He was not.
Joey's like the funny one that you could get, actually.
Yeah. Well, look at you having a crush on someone that you think is realistically able to get. You
Even as a kid, I had realistic expectations.
have realistic expectations.
It's all about
I'm so proud
staying
of
in your
you.
league. I thought at 12 or 14 that I could get Joey McIntyre. Oh my
Oh,
God.
Joey. Oh, he was the sweet one with his little blonde. Those were the good old days.
It really was.
It was.
It was the best of times. And I loved finding out in our pre-chat that you have a like a comedy club background. I'm so loving this about you.
Oh, okay. So, which a lot of people don't, because I hate sometimes at YouTube I take on kind of like serious topics, but then like on my Instagram, it's where I can let loose and have fun. But I used to you go in a comedy club and you have the box office and the girl that gave you your tickets and gave you all that. That was me. So I was the box, in the box giving everybody tickets. But I met so many comedians. I remember hanging out with Charlie Murphy,
Ooh.
Dick Gregory.
Where
Who
was
else
this?
is Nashville. It's
Oh,
Zanies.
cool. Oh,
Mhm.
Zanies!
Yes.
Wow, I had a date set with them, like, a couple years ago. I think it was either pandemic, something happened where it fell through,
Mhm.
but I gotta get back there. I've always wanted to perform there.
Oh, it was a blast. That was probably my most fun job because it wasn't a job. I laughed and I got to meet amazing people. Chris Rock came to do a set
Ooh.
there, Kevin Hart. One of my favorite comedians now out of Nashville is so many people hit it, like Nate Bergeza.
Nate
Who's
Bargatze,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm
Nate
messing up his
Bargatze,
name.
he's
Yes,
so funny. Yeah.
he's out of Nashville and he has an amazing podcast. And so I watched, and it's just been like, that was fun. So, I'm trying to kind of get back to the fun of what I used to do, but some of these topics has been so serious. And, I kind of want to get back to laughing. So
You mean
that's
like
why
the
I'm excited.
trending
You said
like
you was
the trending social media topics, like, some of them are just, like, can get
It is.
dark and can get heavy. Like, I know you covered the Balenciaga stuff, censorship. It's like censorship is important to cover too, but it's just sometimes it can get heavy.
It can get heavy. And right now, I think that we're in this made up gender war, and it's women against men. And I'm so tired of it, especially that people that are in the war have no business being in the war because they don't have nan woman or nan none man. So how are you in a gender war talking about women and you don't have women? Or you're talking about men, what men should do, but you ain't never been in a relationship.
Mm.
So I'm trying to figure out when is the sensibility, the logic is really going to come in these conversations. And I haven't seen it. And
It's easy to follow somebody who looks good, who sounds good, who pushes the envelope. Like, I've seen a lot of people make that point about, like, I keep bringing up Pearl because she's just been very, like, newsworthy lately. She's been very hot, very on the news cycle. Everyone's talking about it. A lot of people have have gone like, are we gonna take advice from her, someone who's perpetually seemingly single, or like, yeah, maybe an old married woman who maybe doesn't look or sound as good and isn't as great at social media, but like that's the marriage advice I want is someone who's been like, yeah, what to do in year 25 of looking at old balls versus the person who just talks in like sound bites.
Right. So, I think when the pearl situation, like I told you before, I have been on her ass, okay, for about 8 to 9 months because I've already peeped game. And I'm actually happy because, we have bigger content creators, legit solidified content creators that can articulate a lot more and break down some more stuff where even I'm looking at stuff like, I didn't catch that before. So I'm glad that's happening. However, I just saw something recently that she was on the Jason Whitlock interview.
Is he on the Blaze? He might be.
I can't. He's
Let's
a
see.
fool. He's a fool. I'll tell you that. And so that whole conversation, it was like you don't do your research. You don't know who you're platforming. And it seemed like it was like he was trying to date her and you are beautiful and I can't, you're not married yet. So it was like some of these men are getting fooled by women saying something. But yeah, it was horrible.
Undermined male rulership and made America chaotic and vulnerable. The developer and left
Her outspokenness.
No, I think
illusion and boredom of modern women.
She looks good here.
To love.
Does she?
She should not wear black. Courtney, I am on this kick right now. It's the whole, I know this is going to sound very bimbo. You take this test and it shows you what color season you are. And then that correlates to different colors that literally make you look more beautiful or make you look worse. And now I'm just starting to notice it because I think Pearl has like similar coloring to me. And one of the colors you're not supposed to wear if you're like a soft ginger or a dirty blonde is black because it
washes you out.
It washes you out. But look how great she looks in the blue.
With a little color.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It was one of the interviews I think she did. She had on something that was kind of gold. And she was told that looked nice. And so it was like for 3-4 days, she wore the same thing. And I was like, girl, you got to wash it. Okay. The one thing that that's why I know that she doesn't have good self-care. However, this interview was something, it was the most pandering. And I just sat there and I was like, come on, my guy. If you're going to interview someone, you have to do your due diligence. You have to research and you have to ask the hard questions. And that wasn't done on this one. I was highly upset about it, honestly.
Really? You think he was just he should have been critical of her?
Volleyball player turned internet influencer. We chatted for a little more than
I think just because she's an easy interview right now because she's trending. She just did what? Pierce Morgan.
What did you think about that interview?
I've only seen clips. I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
She's as dumb as a doorknob. I
think a lot of people are giving her credence because of her alleged connection to Kevin Samuels. Again, like all these sentences start with I heard, but apparently she paid or had Kevin Samuels coach her. And that's where she got a lot of her inspiration to join the manosphere. And she does echo a lot of Kevin Samuels' talking points. And she fills out an important niche because how many women are in the manosphere? How many women are in this like hardcore red pill, like trad wife space?
Yeah. Well, the thing is about Kevin Samuels, who again, was a co-host on his show. I've worked with him. I've talked to him personally, who I was close to. So rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. He was very important.
He was great.
He was hard, but there was nothing that for me, for the majority of the part that he said that I didn't agree with. But the thing with the Pearl, like he took a lot, if you had the money, and he was an image consultant. So he worked on your image. So if you had the money, anyone could. anybody on YouTube could say, I talked to Kevin Samuels if they paid. That doesn't mean that he gave you the game or anything. And that was never told her. She's never said that. She paid. However, she paid a whole lot of people and try to get on with people. You know, O'Shea Jackson, who is one of the founders of the Black Manosphere, she tried to talk to him and he was like, no, I'm not with that. So she has always been trying to get in this male space and taking male talking points. And it's just some men that have seen that she's adrift and some men that are not seeing it. But, you know, using Kevin Samuels' name, that's going to be good in the algorithm. So anyone saying, I talked to Kevin Samuels, I'm cool with Kevin Samuels, is going to be, people are going to look at it like, oh, she might be legit.
Do you think that these men maybe felt, I don't know, maybe like a fatherly duty to Pearl, or maybe they you know, because some men like really love to give advice or want to feel like they're helping. I wonder if she had that effect on these men, because I feel like it is easier sometimes to bond with men if you come off a certain way versus like, I feel like if you want to try to bond with women, there's just certain tools you can't really use. Like you could charm your way. I mean, you can charm a woman too, but I just wonder if it's easy for her to get what she needs from guys more so than women.
You know, I've been kind of thinking about people reasonings on the whys, and why is someone here? Why does someone or is perpetuating some talking points that necessarily doesn't coincide with what they believe or what they do? So you can't say all women should not vote, but yet you're an avid voter. And now you're talking about maybe running for office. That's what she said on the Jason Whitlock.
Really? Oh boy.
Yes. She said, I might run for office so I can, you know, take down the 19th Amendment. Well, if you don't believe in voting, then that doesn't make sense. So I've been trying to figure like, what is the angle? And I think that sometimes people go so hard on something that they detest. There was a thing back in the day with her, and again, like I said, I've been doing this for a little minute, where she Me Too'd a man and got a man fired from his job.
Pearl did?
Yeah, she's got 2 black men fired from a job. And so one of them, she was like, you know, I hated men because of him, because I felt like he was a married man trying to come on to me. However, she was 19 or something. So she literally said, I hated men because of this. Now, all of a sudden, she's a man advocate. How do you go from hating men to being a man advocate? And for me, I'm just like, well, what you're talking and saying to men is never going to get them a woman. So do you still have a little, you know, kind of detest for men? Because what you're saying is not helping men. It's not helping men relate to women. What you're doing is the complete opposite. So do you still detest them? And honestly, I'm going to say I think she does. There's nothing that she would say, the rhetoric that a normal average woman would be like, you know what? I want you. Listen to Pearl. Got to have you. No.
I've heard some men say that they appreciate Pearl's content for the insight it gives them into the I guess the mind of a woman, or apparently she reveals truths about women that they didn't know.
Like what? I mean,
and again, you can't really group all women together. Like, not every woman is out to be a gold digger. Not every woman just wants to date you for your money or your height, or it's just not that simple.
It's not. Have you heard of femcels?
Femcel, like a female incel?
Mm-hmm.
No, but that's a great pun.
It's a thing. It started on Reddit maybe like 2017, 2018. And it is a thing. It is women that are like incels, that they never felt beautiful enough. They never felt like they've had the beauty standard of regular women. They've never had a man that really wanted to be in a relationship with them. A lot of these women never had a man that just even wanted to have sex with them. And so if you listen to Pearl's story, she'll tell you, no one ever has tried to have sex with me. I'm awkward. I've never really been in a relationship. I got catfish by a TikToker that was homeless. So,
yeah,
and
I
it's
feel
like,
so bad for that. And
it
women, there's
is.
so much you can do to make yourself look better. Like, men can't really use makeup. Like, you can get a push-up bra, you can dress for your shape, you can figure out what hair color and style looks the most flattering on you. Like, there's a lot you can do. You can contour now.
Yeah, it is. And
You can
even
draw
but
a whole new face on your
a
face.
whole new face. It's a little, people will call it sorcery. And that's what men can do. But what men can do is not, you can get in shape and get a better job and, a nice haircut. But it is your personality. It is how can you connect and talk to a woman. And these are the conversations that, again, if Pearl was wanting to help men, she would say, hey, how do you talk to women? Are you nervous around them? Are you scared of rejection? Well, you're going to get rejected. That doesn't mean you stop. These are what we need to be talking to men that are wanting to be with women, but it's not. It's all women, women, women. And they're still in this incel mentality. And I'm thinking for me, it's because she's a femcel. And it's just trauma bonding. And I think she's doing more harm than good.
Yeah, and I'll notice, like, she had this whiteboard video of, like, top 5 reasons to disregard a woman, and it was, like, neck tattoos, if she has a child, I don't know, I forget what the other ones were, but she'll be like, you have to eliminate these women if they have any of these qualities. Where I feel like with Kevin Samuels, like, he would talk to women on the phone one-on-one and give specific advice to their specific situation, which I feel like helps somebody a lot more than just making sweeping generalizations.
Yeah, absolutely. Even his show setup was talking to women one-on-one. And it was, tell me about this and let me help you on that. Hers is just general. She's not talking to specific men, or she'll have a people on her show where she's just, wagging the finger of you shouldn't do this while she's doing it. I've never heard someone saying, hey, you are a feminist and you should be at home cooking and cleaning. But she's at home being a boss, employing people, not knowing how to cook, not married. So it's like this. Kevin Samuels was different. And I hate that she's using his name because I honestly believe if he was still here, he would not support Pearl at all. And I'm saying that.
When did you meet Kevin?
So I used to be on a platform called Lapeef Network. And it was a show on YouTube, but it was like 5-6 of us, and we just always talked about relationship conversations. And he would call in. And so he would always kind of call in, give his 2 bits and pieces and conversations. And then that's how I met him. And so sometimes he would like send me a DM and be like, hey, Courtney, what are y'all talking about? I'm going to pop on and see what y'all talking about.
Wow. So this is before his final form of his show where he would like take calls and give like.
This was during the time when he was big. He would always, and a lot of people don't know that he would always check out even smaller pages. He always knew what was going on, and he always checked out smaller pages too. And so he came at us, he blew our page up, but he always said his 2 cents. And so we had the connection. We can talk and have questions, and he would answer. And then, so it was more in depth. Totally different from being very surface. I'm going to steal Kevin Samuels' talking points to make a profit.
I would love to see Pearl like sitting down one-on-one or taking calls like Kevin did and giving very specific advice. I think that would be a good test to see, like, does she care about helping people, and can she just talk to somebody without having just catchy talking points or sassy tweets or so.
We all know that can happen. We know,
but it's hard to know her. Nobody knows her motives. It's like we're all just speculating here. But she's very good at marketing herself. She's very smart business wise. I think she's probably making very good money or had a good head start and is doing pretty well for herself, I guess. But I just want her to wear less black.
You know, it's interesting though, because even in that case, and I think women, especially on YouTube or whatever, like when you go out the house, I think women should be presentable. I think that you should carry yourself a particular way. Um, I think that and how she carries herself is part of the drift. If I look like I come from an Amish community, then I mean, come on.
I look like I just got finished
I look like
raising
I've
a
been
barn.
turning the butter. You know, of course, it's going to play into that. I am this type of woman. It's the whole pick me, as if you can't have morals and you can't be intelligent and still be feminine and still be sweet. And that's not. You can be beautiful and sexy and sweet and intelligent and still know how to treat your man good.
And like
That can
you can put,
happen.
right, and like you can put time into your appearance, and that doesn't mean you're superficial or
No, it,
only about your looks.
no, it means you care about yourself.
Yeah.
And I think any man would want a woman. I don't know no man that wants a woman that looks just super plain Jane that they're not proud to have on their arm. And that means
Right.
you put on a little lipstick, a little hair done,
Do a gloss,
little lip
get
gloss.
some volume, get a little push up bra.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue is like if you're, you could meet a sort of plain girl. I think of like one of my aunts. She's super plain, never wears makeup, like never zhuzhes it up. But she
Mhm.
was always that way. And I think men get upset, like understandably, if you meet a woman and like, oh wow, once or twice a week we go out, you look great, you look done up, then you get married and then you completely give up on your looks, you never do yourself up like that. Understandably, just like vice versa, if you marry a guy and he stops wearing a button down, stops getting haircuts, stops brushing their teeth, you'd be like, what? What?
Yeah. Let me say the most, oh, you can probably agree. I know you're going to agree with me. The one of the things that I get maybe a confident boost is when I go on a date and when God picks me up and he opens the door and he looks at you like, oh shit, okay, I see you, baby, and that makes you feel good because you know he's looking at you and you're beautiful. It makes you feel beautiful. Like these are normal things, but again, if you ain't never had a man or been in a relationship, then you don't know that that's some of the things that's important in relationship. Your man wants you to look good.
Mm-hmm. And then like, oh, all this time was worth it. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yes, we all would like a damn Gina. Exactly. Good night, mister.
damn, Gina.
Do you find with Kevin, I watched so much of his content. It seemed to me that he seemed to get a very similar kind of caller, like similar kinds of women with similar kinds of problems who needed similar advice or tough love.
Mhm.
And why do you think he I don't know, maybe attracted that? Like, or do you just feel like maybe he cut it together a certain way? But I just feel like he gave out this brand of like tough love, and I feel like the
Mhm.
type of woman that really needed to hear it. I just noticed a pattern there, and do you know if that's something that he consciously created, or it just kind of worked out that way, or if he ever said, oh, I want to help this kind of woman?
Yeah. So when he started off, he just talked to men. And it was men platform. And again, he was an image consultant. So he worked on men getting their image together, getting their money up, dressing the part, being fit. There was one show that went viral of him telling a man that, how much money do you make? How tall are you? How much do you weigh? To a man, he was like, oh, so you broke, you short, and you fat. And then it was one part, he was like, well, do you even have a big penis? And the man said no. So you're short, broke, fat with a small penis. What
can't even
woman would want you?
You can't even coast off your big penis.
Right. So those were the conversations that he was having for a long time. And then the viral, the average at best went viral when he started talking to women. And I think the women that called, I don't think it was necessarily purposely done because he's always talked to men, but he opened it to talk to women too. Then the women started calling. I think some of the women really, some was for attention for sure and clout. But I think some women were really wanting to figure out, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And I think he kind of put it in a simplistic way. It was, you're wanting this type of man, but what is he going to get out of you? You want a millionaire man, but you have 3 kids and you're obese. Why would he want you?
You have to pick one.
You gotta pick a struggle, okay? If you're gonna have 3 kids, then you gotta look like Beyonce. If you're gonna be fat, then you gotta be good and firm. It's pick a struggle. So I think that's kind of how he plateaued when then the women started calling in. But I think some of the women, and even with me, I've asked him questions on relationships where I was like, well, what am I getting wrong? Why, I seem to be picking this type of man. And it was like, well, look at you, girl. So he talked shit to me, actually. But I took it and I started with it. And I think a lot of things that I've learned from Kevin Samuels has been priceless and has helped me grow as a woman. My dating, the men even that I'm dating is different.
How
and
so?
I believe that you attract what you are. So one thing that he always talked about was, therapy. And it's are you in therapy? Have you been working on some past traumas? Because that's going to deviate your relationship. If you didn't grow up with your dad or you was in a bad relationship, have you gotten over it? You need to deal with that first. Heal. Which a lot of us are not saying. We're not healing all of these conversations. A lot of us are just trauma bonding.
Right.
Heal first.
And it's good to notice your triggers, the things that get you very angry or very upset, because like your emotions are such an important compass to show you either what you care about or what you need to work on, like where that past hurt is. It could be your past relationships. Why do you always pick the same type of woman or man? It could be the person you date or gravitate to, like does the same shit to you your dad did, and that's why you're attracted to that type, or just unresolved mom-dad issues, whatever those are. But it's always important to pay attention, like, to what you're triggered by, because I think you're only as strong as your triggers.
Yeah, I agree. And, and I don't even think it's a racial thing. We all have trauma that we need to deal with. And I think what's important and what makes healthy relationships is you healing. And when 2 healed people come together and are able to communicate, that's a hell of a lot than 2 people that feels this way about women and this way about men and getting together and trying to make it work. And even in this space right now, since Kevin has been passed over a year, you don't hear people talking about getting therapy.
Wow.
Pearl has never said, have you talked to someone? It's women's fault. It's always women, but not even saying, well, maybe it's you. Maybe you're attracting this type of woman because you ain't shit.
Would Kevin bring up therapy often?
Every show.
Yeah. That's great. And there's not enough men talking about it, promoting therapy. It's still, and it is very much, the boomer generation. I tried to get my mom in therapy, like even when she was diagnosed with cancer, I was like, you have to go to I tried so hard. My dad, very stubborn, very German, just kept shutting it down. And I'm like, okay, this is a generational thing. And I just feel like that has trickled down to millennials. And you don't want to be, too much into therapy either. You don't want to be someone who's just a perma seeing their therapist. Like, you get over it, we work on an issue, and then you get out, because
it shouldn't be, therapy should not be prolonged. If you tell me you've been in therapy for 10 years, this is an issue.
That's a hobby then.
You just found a best friend now, right?
You're just paying a friend.
You just found a buddy. Like, no. Because it has to be a point where you're dealing with it, but you got to stop. You got to walk, you get on crutches, but you got to let them crutches go, and you're going to have to walk on your own.
Yeah. And your therapist should be pushing you out of the nest.
Yeah,
and they're not. They're not.
My office, but
I was seeing mine for years, and the only reason why I broke it off with her was because I could tell she was upset and like irritated that I voted for Trump. She was like, irritated by that. But what the final straw was is over the pandemic, we were doing like Zoom sessions, and she wanted to charge more for the Zoom sessions. And then she said to me, I see a couple who make more than you and they can pay this rate. And I was like, yeah, I think we're done here, Candace. I think I'm good. I think I'm cured.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
didn't appreciate the sass because I had been with her for like
A
3,
lot.
4 years. Like I was a good customer.
Yeah, what a good customer. Again, a lot of times I talk talk about, pharmaceuticals. It's like a lot of these things are wanting to keep you in a perpetual state of I need this. You have to have me. You need this. And it's like, no, you need to start doing this on your own.
Yeah. Our
Yeah.
culture needs to push and promote self-sufficiency, but it
Def-
won't.
Absolutely.
It's too profitable, especially if you're in big pharma. Like, guess what? Intermittent fasting is free. It's free to
It
just
is
stop
free.
eating or eating
It is
less,
it
you
is
know?
very free. Taking
Walks
a
are
walk in the park,
Yep.
it's free. So yeah, I agree.
When I talk about my kind of transition out of being like a brainwashed feminist to like I'll make jokes too. I'll be like, "Oh, I just realized one day I needed someone to help me get the air conditioner in the window." Like that's
Mhm.
how I started to like be nice to men again. But like for real, it was kind of waking up to the conditioning of like going the 4 years in college. I was very much like, and I talk about this all the time, women's studies minor, feminist, like classic, moved to Brooklyn, was a stand-up comic, Democrat. I didn't
Mhm.
vote for Hillary, but like I was all of the things. And when I talk about my sort of waking up and realizing men are not the enemy, it is kind of deconstructing my college years. And I wonder, do you find like that's and the more like basically white women my age I talk to sometimes have a similar story, and I wonder, is that sometimes the case in the Black community, or do you
Mhm.
feel like there's different factors going on or different influences that maybe give women the impression like that men are the enemy, or like have like a similar sort of like brainwashing that you have to work yourself out of?
Yeah, I think with my community, with Black women, we have been taught to not need a man, that they are not needed, that you can get a job on your own, you can get education on your own, like you don't need him. And so the perpetual state of us just listening all the time, you don't need him, you don't need him. So you look at a man as an accessory. It's I can get a man if I want to on the side, or if I have a sexual need or anything, then I can use him for that. If I want free lunch, free dinner, I can use him for that. Use him, but I don't need him. Um, and I like you, I had that mentality as well. It's like I don't need no man. I can get a good job. I can go to college. I can do what do I need a man for if
Yeah,
I can
because
take care of myself?
we're raised with that's what girl power is.
Right,
That's
girl
what
power and black girl magic. Like that's what it was. Um, but then it was like when you live that life of I don't need a man and I can take care of myself, then it became where, yeah, I can take care of myself to survive. But if I want to thrive in this world, then no, I need a counterpart. I need a man. There's mistakes that I was making that I shouldn't have had to make if I had someone more logical or someone covering me. Case in point, just recently happened where I had to get my car fixed. And I went to like Midas to get my car fixed. And they said it was gonna be $2,000. I said $2,000. So I called down. I said, man, my car's about to be $2,000. He was like, well, what they say was it. So I sent him the diagnostics of it. He said, Courtney, baby, go here. Okay. What you need is this. Get this quote. I went, did what he told me to do. And that $2,000 went to $300. I promise. I
What?
did a show on that. Of course, because I'm a woman, so they're gonna tell me, you need to do this. I said it to him. He was like, "That's not what's wrong with it, Courtney. Trust me. Go here, do this." And I had to pay $300 for something that I was supposed to have 2008. For me, so it's like no,
What a good friend to tell you that too. It's like,
yeah, absolutely. And so this was like, no, I just it's not that I don't need a man. If I want to thrive, Meaning I don't want to do this. I don't want to carry everything on my back. There's some things that I don't know and some things that I don't understand because I'm not interested. I'm not interested in cars. I'm not interested in cutting you. I'm not interested in that. So I'm having to pay money to do this, pay money to do that. And with a man that can do it or understand where I need to go, that helps. And I can thrive off that. And just that saved me $1,700.
Yeah. You could take him out to dinner.
I did. I was like, you get a steak dinner tonight.
We're going to Red Lobster.
Oh, dang.
Get the cheesy bread. Get the cheese biscuits.
I wish women, like, everyone's talking about feminism. Like, I mean, get over it. There's different stages of feminism, and everyone talks about feminism, but don't necessarily know what stage is what and where it started. And so I want to get out of that. What I want to really see is that we need each other. And there's things that men know that women just necessarily don't. And there are some things that women have intuition on, that we are your helpmate and we can help you be great. There's some things that you don't know that I do because I feel it or I can look at it. Like, that's my job. And if we get in that form, is that we actually do need each other to thrive, there ain't no goddamn gender war. It's I need you, you need me. So let's figure out who wants to deal with my shit. You want to deal with my shit? Okay, I'm gonna deal with yours. Then let's make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm been preaching, child, but I don't know if it's hitting.
Feminism seems so stupid because it's like, yeah, it's 2023. I mean, even when I was right in college, it's like, okay, the 2000s, yeah, duh. Of course, women can go get a job. Of course, you can pay your own rent. Of course, you can be a single mother. Of course, you can be confident without a man complimenting you. Of course, you can work out and take care. Of course, duh. That just seems so. And the best way to reframe it is like, it doesn't mean you're less than a man. Of course, you could be a fucking CEO if you go work 60 hours a week, be miserable. Of course, you are free to do that. But it's like, you need somebody, exactly what you said, watching your back. You need somebody because we're either emotional or cramping or crazy 2 weeks out of the month. Okay. Going into it, coming out of it. It varies. Some women are only hysterical a couple days a month, but like, you need that logical counterpart. You need the person looking out for you and you looking out for them. Like, men can't tell when things need to be cleaned. Men don't, you know what I mean? Like,
sometimes you got to tell them to clean their ass. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't know. They don't know when to go to the doctor, and they don't. And again, but when you have women that's never been in a relationship or never been a long time or lived with a man, they don't know. For a long time with my mate, I scheduled the doctor's appointments, the dentist appointments, all that. Because they don't think about things like that.
Right. And it's not out of, honestly, I used to think it was out of like a laziness or a lack of self-care. I mean, some are, sure, whatever. But I think it more stems from like a good man puts himself last. I think men are always thinking about like their job, their kids, their family, their partner. And it's like, it's either like, okay, sure, of course, everybody could be lazy and not care, but like, it doesn't, I think it's more just like they will put themselves last and they don't think it's as important as other things.
And they're supposed to think that. And then as women, I think that our superpower is knowing is that we are the source for you to be able to get that done. Like, I nourish you by not only my words, and I speak life into you. I nourish you by what I cook. I give you strength in that. I make sure you go to the doctor. You take your multivitamins. Do you think men out here talking about I'm taking multivitamins? No, I had it for you. You go take your vitamins today, sir. So it's women are giving the nourishment for men to be able to take care of it. And that's our superpower. It doesn't make us less than a man. Our jobs are different, but it's still in its essence powerful. Like, a good woman inspires not only you to want to be great in this world, but we help you physically. We help you. My stepdad was overweight, got my mom's dietitian. Well, my stepdad out here looking like a young Denzel. Okay. I said, But that's the power of woman. And he probably don't even know what my mother was doing, but that is our power. We have this power. We just have to tap into it and know that, we are creators. We give life, and it doesn't stop at motherhood. Our life is in our words and what we cook and how we keep the home. So
yeah, just
hardly
sort of
that.
casual nurturing. Like it doesn't even have to be a big deal. The chat wants you ringed up. Good night, Mr. Here says, ring this woman.
Ring me up, damn it.
The more I hear like advice, or I feel older men who have been married or in a relationship for a while, like I think a lot of women think like, oh, it's about like just looking hot and you gotta snap back after you give birth and all that, stuff. Like I gotta keep up. I think at the end of the day, I hear a lot of men say like, just like be our peace, just don't add drama to my life, like just don't be basically a source of calm. And
I agree. No, I agree. I think,
drama.
I think men are able to, I hate the word settle because settle seems like it's a negative, but I don't think it is. Settling is like it's calming.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like called settling. It should be called choosing. Like
yeah,
you're not settling, you're choosing.
You are my calm. So I would prefer you over this because you bring an element to me that, that fits me in my life. And I think men have, are able to say, you know what? She might be a little bit hefty, maybe, but she brings me peace other than, well, she's an IG model, but all she does is give me chaos and a nerve and a headache. I think men understand that they can do that. And I think men are wanting women to do the same thing. Are women doing it? That's a whole nother discussion. But no, I think even with men, they don't care a lot about just the aesthetics. Like I always used to be, weight conscious. Like I've always kind of gone up and down. I've always, been nervous. And so even with a guy, I'd be turn the lights off. I need to make sure I wear a waist trainer.
Look over there. Yeah. My
you getting all this, baby. All this and souping it up. But now, but I've had men was like, I don't care about all that. Like, you're not obese. You have a nice shape. We like that silhouette of a woman. That silhouette, baby. We like that. And I said, well, I got that. Might come with a little football.
All right. More bread for the table. Waiter.
Good waiter. Let me get that extra.
More cheddar biscuits.
He's okay. Right. I try not to get over. But no, I think guys are not as crazy when it comes to the aesthetics as we might think. I think social media has played on a lot of our minds where we think every man wants an IG model, but then you see these IG models and they're plastic and they look fake. And
the more time you spend scrolling, the more it's like you'll feel yourself getting competitive, like because like you're just like, okay, yeah, the ideal physically would be like a porn star, and we're inundated with that, and you're just like, you have to stop yourself sometimes. And I think it's younger women are more susceptible. That's why it's like I really feel for these like preteens and teens. It's like studies are showing that like the more time they spend on social media, or particularly Instagram, it's like they will get suicidal over a lot of social media intake. So you're gonna just compare yourself like crazy when it's like that's not even ultimately the most important thing. It's compatibility, it's peace, it's communication, it's wanting to work it out.
And even in my older age, I struggle with that too. I think women want to feel sexy. We want to be looked at as, beautiful and sexy. I've had to try to figure out that what men like and what they would have sex with is different from what they would marry.
Yeah. It took me a long time.
That's different things. Put that in my head. I have to put it in my head because if not, honey, I'd be up here with a BBL, size double D titties, long.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be on a plane to the Dominican Republic right now. I'd
Absolutely.
be like, fix it, make it happen back there.
Make it pop and pop, So I have to struggle with that, but it's like, no, we might have sex with that, but that's not what we're going to marry. And what we want to marry, from what I was told, is someone that can, we say give peace, but again, inspire me, that will love me, that I can trust. And eventually, I think really what men kind of want is someone that they can be open and vulnerable to, which I know that's very, very hard for men. But if they can find a woman that they trust to do that, you done won the game.
Yep.
That's
Then
the
you're not having to
code.
carry an extra
Okay.
emotional load on you.
Right. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. You had a bit of a viral clip. It came out. You had you reviewed. Let's see, what movie was this? Was it Wakanda Forever? Oh God, can I not watch this unless I'm logged in? I'm so annoyed.
Oh,
Let's see if it'll just play. For some reason, here we go.
Left forever, and I'm pissed. I am pissed because if Pushing an Agenda was a movie, this would be in the forefront of that. This was Woman King on steroids. Okay. If you think that I'm gonna believe 100-pound black woman soaking wet is just an almighty warrior and can just body dudes like it's no tomorrow, come on. Like, instead of Wakanda, it should have been called Where Are the Men? Because they was not there, they were not present, and the ones that was there was weak. But all the women that was in the movie was just brolic, built, strong Hercules. What is this saying to us? Perpetuating the idea of the strong black woman and a subservient black effeminate man. I just think it's disgusting. I'm completely upset by the movie. And man, if this Kyrie Irving didn't teach me anything, it's when you put your life career in the hands of other people that don't look like you, then they can make you do whatever they want you to do. And this movie does not represent what African culture is. It doesn't represent what our culture needs to be. So, I'm good on Wakanda. Where all the men.
Oh my God, this is so great. You know who would really appreciate it? The guys on Friday Night Tights, which is the show I do on Fridays. All right, this was back from November.
Wow, yeah.
Wakanda Forever comes out, and then the Woman King came out after Wakanda Forever, right? I think that
yes. Well, was it? I think it was Woman King. I don't remember, but they was very close to each other. It could have been after the Woman King. Yeah, the Woman King I think was after the fact. And I think I did something about that, which again, our conversation, it's still like, stop. And especially, speaking as a black woman, we do need men. And I don't want to be a freaking warrior. I don't want to have to fight. I don't want to carry all this stuff on me. No. But if we keep playing it in the movies and in the media, and we don't need a man, then it's still going to get to our young girls that, yeah, you can be a warrior. You can be a fighter. And okay, maybe some of us can, but idealistically, it's like, do you want to? Do you want to fight? I'm not built for that.
That looks nice on the movies, but like you go to New York City and a crazy dude tries to push you into the subway, you'll find out really quick that you're not. Most women are not warriors. Like you can't fight. It's insane,
and it's okay. There's strength in being silent. There is strength in letting someone else be in control, especially when you're so used to being in control. There's strength in having self-control. And I get so tired of even go back to Pearl silly ass, of this. This is what women are. We're warriors. Or now with Pearly stupid asses, women are whores and fresh and fit. All they have is sluts. And this is what women are. But we're not all that. You won't ever see them talk to someone that's intelligent and can articulate and have an opinion, or, someone that doesn't look like a whore. You're not going to see that. And in these movies, as far as being a Black woman, you're not going to see a Black woman just being a mom and a wife and sweet, as if that doesn't exist. And I'm like, I see it in real life. I know that we are that, but we're not seeing that. And the question is why? And to me, I just think in this genre that we're in, it's money and pain, and it's money and continuing the pain. And if anyone is trying to talk out against it or say women are not all of this, then there are good women and we need to showcase them. You ain't gonna get no views because they don't care about it. And that's hurtful to me, because then you become a pick-me, and I'm just like, I'm not a pearl. I'm a regular woman, and I'm just regular, intelligent, sweet gal from the South.
Most people, if you ask them to name like who is the strongest woman, it's probably gonna be like a mom or an auntie or a grandmother, someone who stayed home, someone who took care of the family, someone who was like an emotional rock.
Yeah.
I don't think people are gonna be like, yeah, this female CEO I know, or like this.
All right, this woman, she's a firefighter, and I know. It's like, no, it's gonna be someone that loved you, and that strengthened your love again and inspired you. And being an inspiration is priceless.
I hate that that's the message that women are getting, that if you're a mom or you run a household, or your top priority is your family, that is not a strong position to operate from. Like that there's no strength in that's being seen as like, I don't know, being a pick-me or settling, because you provide strength for everybody in the house, emotional strength. They can get through their day, whether you work or not, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or not. It's like that value of looking after everybody. It's interesting what you said about like Kyrie Irving. Was he the basketball player who wouldn't get vaccinated?
Yes. And then they canceled him because he shared a movie that
but so
he
was very inspiring. That was this is very interesting what you said. When you put your career in the hands of someone who doesn't look like you, that means you're sort of like turning over your autonomy. And do you mean that in a larger sense, like professional sports are run by like old white men, and they don't really, I mean, like if you look at just football, like everyone's just a body to them. Sports are all about money.
In every sense of the word. So if you are giving your life, your job, and someone that is not relatable to you and don't understand, then you're giving them all the power. So even Wakanda, that the producers, the writers, they were white. Well, you're giving your time, you're giving your story to someone that is not necessarily connected to it. Let's talk about podcast, which you have a woman, Pearl, that is talking to men. Well, she can't relate to you. So you're listening to a woman that, again, you're giving your hard-earned money and super chats to someone that cannot relate to you. Men that are wanting to be with women and want a relationship, where you're giving all your resources to men that are not in those relationships. They don't get women. They ain't never had a woman. Some of these men are gay. So you're giving all that has not been in. So it's like, let's start thinking. If I want to be great at what I want to do, then I'm going to get someone that is great at it. If I want to tell my story, I have to have someone to tell my story that I can relate to. If I'm in sports, well, of course, they're going to cancel me because I'm only a body to them. And my thoughts and my opinions is not going to matter. So I think it's all together, honestly.
I think it's easier to spend money and time on what you want to hear than to spend money and time on like what you need to hear, or trying to figure out what you should or have to hear. It's like that tough love. Like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of women were not happy with Kevin Samuel's advice, but they probably hung up the phone and were like, damn, okay, maybe I don't need 6 feet tall.
Right. And it makes you think. Yeah. Oh, Little Kevin. He made me think, and I like people that do make me think. And that's what I'm trying to even see and search here is, you know, we've become such a hive mentality that you don't have critical thinkers anymore. They're just worried about it's the Joel Osteen effect. Is I'm going to say a message to make you feel good, but it's not a message to make you heal.
Right. Like, is Joel going to follow up with you and see how you're
Hell
doing?
no, no, he gonna take them tithes and offering and go on to his multi-million-dollar home and say, "Go on about your business," and I'll be back Sunday to make you keep laugh and I feel good about myself when you're dying inside.
Mm-hmm.
So
The Righteous Gemstones is a show on, I think, Netflix. It's hilarious. Like, I really recommend people watch it because it's about like a family who is basically like Joel Osteen level. Like, they run a mega church, they're super rich, and it's like it shows all the ways in which they're hypocrites, but it's like really sharply written and really funny. Danny McRitchie is, I think, a producer and a writer and stars in it. And I think not John Goodman, he died. The other one, the one that was in Roseanne.
okay, John Goodman was the dad.
Yeah, maybe it is John Goodman.
The boyfriend from
the one who was with Roseanne. God damn, this is so bad. I'm blanking on his name.
No, because I used to watch
Oil Gemstones. I need to know this guy's name. Cast. John Goodman. Oh, it is John Goodman. Okay, yeah. They're a dysfunctional family of televangelists.
Okay. I don't think he's dead though. Are we killing him off?
No, I think he's one of them.
Is he still alive?
He's in the show. I know one of them is dead. John Goodman is not dead. Confirmed by the chat.
I know he's lost a lot of weight.
Someone else died. I know who you're thinking of. Someone else died. Chase blames Beyonce, BET, and TLC. I don't know for what, but just maybe generally.
I don't. Well, I know what they're saying. I blame BET too. Maybe the songs. So this is the thing where a lot of guys.
John Candy is dead.
John Candy. Oh,
he's the one that was in Home Alone. The one that was like,
awesome. He had
the band. He was like polka.
John Candy? You remember he had a cartoon back in the day? I used to watch the cartoon. He was a good guy. I blame TLC's pretty up. I think what they're saying is that like TLC had a song called, you know, No Scrubs. And so a lot of guys say, well, TLC was demeaning men because they were singing about not having a scrub. And my honest opinion is like, no woman wants a scrub. It's true.
Goals, just like
and they shouldn't, because if we date a scrub, then you call him a Pookie and Ray Ray and say you should pick better. So it got to be, which one is it? She said she don't want a scrub, or she dates a scrub, and then you make fun of her and tell her that she should pick better.
Right. And scrubhood is not necessarily a life sentence. Like, you could have a scrub phase, work on yourself, and then thrive.
But what's even more funnier is that, again, these talking points are so played out. And really, if you just start listening to the talking points, you can really dissect it. No Scrubs was written by one of the members of Escape, but it was also written by a man. So it was co-produced by a man. So who's also making this genre of music or stuff that men are getting upset about is men. So you're getting upset by women singing it, but who's writing it? Who's producing it? And it's also guys. So you can't put all the onus on women. They're men that are writing these hit songs that are saying, I don't want a scrub. But honestly, no woman wants a scrub. And you shouldn't want to be in the, you know, the passenger side trying to holler at me. No, we want you to have your own car. We want you to have your own car. Especially at 35, 40 years old. You need your own car.
Get a used car. Yeah.
It's a dealership on every corner.
Mm-hmm.
Again, these talking points sometimes are a little.
That's so interesting. Yeah, everybody in the chat was saying, "Oh, Louis Anderson was the one who had the cartoon, and then
Oh, is it Louis Anderson?
he's also dead.
Oh, I'm getting confused. Yeah,
Everyone's dead."
darn.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about what you said before, like, and I noticed this with the Democrat Party too. Every time an election comes around, it's like the idea you mentioned of there's profit in pain, and I'm just like, oh, how horrible! Like that's, I mean, we're manipulated in so many different ways, and I feel like different demographics are manipulated in different ways. I feel like they study how to fucking trigger every one of us for something to get us to do, whether it's consume a certain way or lead our lives a certain way or not get married or not have kids. And I
Yeah.
just Mr. Goodnight in the chat said, like, yeah, women are easier to psyop because our greatest strength is our emotional intelligence, but it's also
Mhm.
could be like our greatest weakness too, because it can be taken advantage of.
Yeah, I think the Democratic Party has done a job on the Black community. I think they understand that you can reach Black people by touching into their emotions because we are an emotional people. So you'll have Joe Biden say, if you don't vote for me, you're Black. You'll have a Kamala Harris that is a whole Indian woman, but is trying to be a Black woman, but she's not. Let's stop. So you will have the Democratic Party not even talking about policies to us. And that's what gets on my nerves. They don't even have enough respect for you to talk about policies. They just say, if you don't vote for me, you're Black, and make you feel belittled. Like the only party that makes
Yeah.
you feel like you're stupid.
Like,
you just go ahead and vote for them.
Like, you're not Black if you don't vote for me. Oh, you suddenly have no identity. Like, you're not you if you don't vote for me. Like, that's pretty simplistic.
When I heard that on the break, I was just like, "Are you serious?"
How dumb do you think? Yeah, it's really demeaning.
But apparently it worked. So again, we don't have critical thinkers. We don't have people that they go off your feelings. And again, that was the most disrespectful thing that I've heard anyone really president try to say. And I was like, so now Black people have to be a monolith, and no, I can't stand his ass either. Okay. He's right up there with Pearl, who needs a good slap. Okay. Pow pow.
And they both need a tan. They're both pasty. I think that's a good thing to remember going into this next election season. Like, if you find that your emotions they are being triggered, or if you feel like they're being toyed with, or even posts you read on social media, like, I think it's good to be aware of that. Like, are my emotions being triggered, and is that the best place to operate from?
Yes. Yes. We should do that in everything that we do. When you're listening to someone, especially someone that's getting advice, are they giving you sound advice, or are they trying to tickle your ear? And what we've been listening to is just people that's been tickling the ears and making folks feel good. But again, like I said, with the Joel Osteen thing, that's no healing, and it actually is more harmful, and it's separating us more. And the fact that we do need each other, and you're listening to people that separates us, at the end of the day, what is the outcome? You not having a woman, or you not having a man, and you still doing this by yourself? Who wants that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
It's exhausting. You can't keep that up. You're gonna lose yourself. Like, something's gonna give.
Yeah.
You're either gonna have no time for yourself, or like no time for your kids. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. We solved it. We solved everything, Courtney.
I think so. I think tonight, I think we've solved world hunger. I think
we solved
we've solved it all. Everybody just needs to repost this, and it's gonna save lives, I think.
Yes. Follow Courtney Michelle on YouTube and Instagram at IM.CourtneyMichelle with 2 L's. Courtney, I have to get you on Simcast. We're going to make that happen because you're just an absolute delight.
Oh, thank
so
you.
Easy to talk to. We clearly vibe. You're the best.
Oh, I'm so happy to be on here. Let me tell you. Okay.
Oh.
What I heard I was moonwalking.
Aw.
I'm so happy to meet you. And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So whenever you need me, baby, I'm gonna come up, throw it up.
Aw.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
got you.
Thank you to the chat. You guys had some good questions and comments today. Good for you guys. And thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.